Consumer electronics get cheaper and better every year, but the absolute basics of a middle-class life, housing and education, are running in the opposite direction. The government actually recognized this problem years ago. They spent trillions of dollars with the explicit goal of making homes and diplomas more affordable. They backed cheap mortgages to help people buy their first houses. They handed out student loans so anyone could pay tuition, and they flooded public schools with cash to improve the baseline of education. We can now see the results of those policies. A median income family can barely afford a starter home. Graduates carry over $1.6 trillion in student debt, and national test scores have completely flatlined. We left trillions of dollars in assistance at the crime scene. How did that help end up making the middle class poorer? Let's investigate higher education. Federal student loans began with a clear purpose: give low-income students the cash they needed to access college. Universities reacted to this exactly how a business would. Their applicants held lines of government credit, increasing their purchasing power. So the schools simply raised their prices. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York tracked this pass-through effect. They found that for every dollar the government expanded in subsidized loan limits, colleges raised tuition by 60 cents. You see the exact same mechanic in the housing market. The government offered tax deductions and cheap subsidized mortgages to help new buyers get their foot in the door. Those buyers immediately ran into strict local zoning laws. In many desirable cities, it is incredibly difficult to build new, dense neighborhoods. The supply of homes is restricted by law. Imagine giving 100 people extra cash to bid on the same 10 houses. It doesn't make housing cheaper. It creates an auction where buyers use government debt to outbid each other for a limited resource. Subsidizing demand without increasing supply does not create affordability. It funds an arms race of debt for a product that keeps getting more expensive. Public schools offer a different angle on the same problem. Since 1977, state and local spending on K-12 education has increased by 136%, adjusted for inflation. This chart compares math scores to per-pupil spending. If cash directly improved learning, we'd see a steep upward slope. Instead, it's completely flat. Look at the states on the far right. They spend massive amounts, yet their scores sit in the middle or below average. If the money didn't translate into higher test scores, where did it go? It was absorbed by the administrative blob. Between the year 2000 and 2019, the number of school district administrators grew 10 times faster than the number of actual students or teachers. Pouring funding into the top of a system doesn't automatically output smarter students. Without strict structural discipline, that money buys endless paperwork and bureaucratic expansion. It is easy to look at inflated tuition, expensive houses, and heavy bureaucracy and conclude that all government spending is a total waste. The data shows otherwise. The post-World War II GI Bills successfully built real, highly skilled human capital. It paid millions of veterans to learn hard skills, driving economic productivity for decades. Consider federal funding for research and development. Government grants laid the foundation for the internet, GPS, and MRI machines. They invented entirely new technologies that expanded the whole economy. The return on those specific investments is massive. Studies show that every dollar the public spends on R&D generates over $2 in benefits for society. Even in K-12 education, the money works when it bypasses the administration. When funds are strictly targeted at hiring actual teachers and shrinking class sizes in poor districts, graduation rates reliably go up. The amount of money we spend matters less than the target. Public money works when it builds real economic capacity rather than just expanding purchasing power. We have to recognize the difference between simulating prosperity and building it. Pumping easy credit into a broken system hits a wall. The supply can't grow, so prices just rise. Investing in technology, infrastructure, and hard skills pushes the wall outward. It increases the economy's speed limit. Relying on fake affordability traps us on a treadmill. The middle class has to take on twice as much debt just to stay in the exact same place. We cannot buy prosperity on a credit card. To make housing and education affordable again, we have to stop handing out subsidized loans and start handing out hard hats to build actual supply.